Satin stitch is a beautiful embroidery stitch that can be used to fill in shapes with a solid color. Today I'm going to share 5 tips to help make your satin stitches even more beautiful. Welcome to Epida Studio. My name is Elizabeth and I help you make beautiful things with quilting, pojagi, and embroidery. So satin stitch is an embroidery stitch made up of straight stitches that all lay next to each other. And ideally, they're all perfectly straight and parallel, but sometimes things go a little bit wonky. So today I'm going to share 5 tips to help you improve in satin stitch. So before I share these 5 tips, first I have 3 little caveats to share. The first thing is, if you are happy with how your embroidery stitch looks, then I'm not here to be embroidery police and tell you that you're doing it wrong or that it looks bad. There are no rules in embroidery and you can embroider however you want. But if you are struggling to get your satin stitches to look the way you want to, then these tips might help you. The second caveat is this is not an exhaustive list. There are a lot of different variations and options and things you can do with satin stitch. However, these are, I think, the 5 basic foundational things that will help you. And then the third thing is that nothing will replace practice. Practice is the best way to improve your stitching. You can use all the right tools and materials and techniques, but practice is going to make the biggest difference. So just give yourself permission to practice and just patience as you go through the learning process. So just before we jump into the 5 tips, let's take a look at the first embroidery sample. So for these samples, I'm going to be stitching on a little heart design. A heart is a nice practice shape because it has curved edges, straight edges, and points. So for this one, I'm just using 3 strands of embroidery floss just as it comes off the skein, and I'm starting at one side and stitching across with straight stitches. So I'm just stitching this normally. I'm not trying to purposely make it look bad so that my improvements are really dramatic. So if you think this one looks better than yours, don't worry about it. That's just practice. And also you'll notice that my improvements are all really subtle changes. So in the finished heart, we can see this looks okay, but some of the threads are overlapped and twisted, so they're not perfectly straight and parallel. This does give the embroidery a bit of texture, but if you want your piece to look like more classic satin stitch, then stay tuned for these tips. So that sample is fine. There's nothing bad about it, but if you want your threads to be more straight and parallel, then the first thing you want to do is separate your threads. And this is something that I recommend for any type of embroidery stitches. Anytime I'm using embroidery floss, I will do this. So when I say separate my strands of thread, I mean I will pull my strands of thread apart one at a time so they're single, and then join them back together into a group of 3. So if you think of the difference between a rope and a ribbon, that's the difference that we have. When I separate them and join them back together, then it is more flat and the threads are already laying more parallel to each other. So now when I stitch, you can see that the threads aren't as twisted. Another tip that is part of this one is to use fewer strands of thread. So for the second side of this heart, I'm stitching it with only 2 strands of thread. So you can see the difference between stitching with 2 strands and stitching with 3 strands. With 2 strands, it's easier to keep your threads flat and parallel, but it will take longer because it takes more stitches to get the coverage that you'd want. So when we see this heart compared to the previous one, you can see subtle differences. The threads are laying a bit more parallel and flat, and you can also see tiny differences between the 3 strands and the 2 strands. The second thing you'll want to do is use a laying tool. Now you can purchase things that are sold, they're manufactured specifically to be laying tools. It's a little tool that will help you lay your stitches down, help you have more control as you're stitching. But you can also use other things as laying tools. So in my sample, I'm just going to be using like a big dull needle, like a tapestry needle. That will make a great laying tool. So you don't have to run out and purchase something. Try using something like another needle first. So for this sample, I have separated my strands of thread, and now I am also using a laying tool. So to use a laying tool, you hold it with the thread kind of close to your stitching, and then you use that to keep a bit of tension on your thread as you're pulling it through. This is much easier if you have an embroidery stand, because you can use both hands to do the stitching and you don't need another hand to hold onto your embroidery hoop. A laying tool will help your stitches go where you want them to go, and it will help your threads not to get twisted. So again, on this heart, on the left side, I use 3 strands of thread, and on the right side, I'm stitching with 2 strands of thread. So even though naturally 2 strands of thread won't get as twisted as 3 strands of thread, a laying tool is still helpful to help your threads go where you want them to go and lay really nicely. So when you compare the second heart to the first one in the original sample, you can see the changes are subtle, but the threads are laying more flat and more parallel. The third thing that can make a difference is from working on the inside of the shape out. And this is especially helpful in shapes like circles or things that have curves in them. It just somehow helps get the curve more smooth if you're working into the curve instead of trying to start at the curve and work in. So I tend to default just always start somewhere in the middle and then work out to the edges. So for this heart, I'm starting stitching in the center of the heart, and then I will be working my stitches out to the left, and then I will go back to the center and work my stitches out towards the right. Now for this one, I've also separated my strands of thread, and I'm using a laying tool. Stitching into the curve of the heart instead of starting at the curve and working out makes it a little bit easier to keep the edges smooth, but it also helps to make the 2 sides of the heart look more consistent. So after the first side, I come back to the center, and now I'm stitching out again from the center. And on this side, I am using 2 strands of thread. So though they are really subtle, we are seeing little differences between these samples. The main benefit of starting in the middle of a shape and working to the outside edges is it keeps both sides looking consistent because they are both stitched towards the outside of the shape. The fourth thing that is helpful is to give yourself reference lines. So if you want all your lines to stay parallel, it's easy for your stitches to gradually kind of go on a slant and they won't stay parallel. But if you have reference lines throughout your shape, that will help you keep them parallel and to be able to correct if you're starting to get a little bit slanted. So you can either draw these reference lines in with a pencil or a marking pen or something, or you can even take a couple stitches to use as reference lines as you go along. So I'm using a friction pen and my tiny quilting ruler, and this ruler is helpful because I can use the parallel lines on the ruler to make sure that my lines that I'm marking are parallel. Now I'm starting in the center of the shape. I have separated my strands of thread and I'm using a laying tool. So I am adding these tips onto each other instead of just doing one difference at a time. So when I come up to a reference line, if my stitches don't line up with it, I can easily make a correction in the middle and then straighten them before I go on with the rest of the shape. So on the second side of the heart, I did all the same things. I marked reference lines, I'm using a laying tool, I separated the strands of thread, and I worked from the middle out. But just like the other hearts, on this side, I am using 2 strands of thread. The fifth tip that helps will help get the edges a bit more smoother. With satin stitch, sometimes the edge of your shapes looks a little bit kind of jaggedy. And so if we add an outline stitch or just stitch around the edge of the shape, that will help it be a bit smoother. Now there are 3 options for this. You can stitch an outline around the shape and then do your satin stitch right over top of the outline stitches. You can outline stitch around the shape and then do your satin stitch, but keep it inside the outline so the outline will be visible. Or you can stitch the shape with satin stitch and then come back and stitch an outline around it. So any of those options are great. You can play with color and do your outline in a different color. There's a lot of different things you can do with that. So I'm doing 2 different variations of outlining the shape. So on this first sample, I am stitching a back stitch all around the heart. And then on the second sample, I'm doing a whipped back stitch. On this sample, I am stitching over top of the back stitch. So when I'm finished, you won't know that that stitching is there. I'm also implementing all the other techniques that we've used. I separated my strands of thread. I'm using a laying tool. I'm working from the middle of the shape out, and I've added some reference guidelines. The left side of the heart is stitched with 3 strands of thread, and the right side of the heart is stitched with 2 strands of thread. So when we compare this one to the other samples, we can see it does have a little bit more dimension. It is lifted up off of the surface of the fabric a bit more than the other ones. And the edges are a little bit smoother. On this last heart, I've stitched the outline, and now I'm adding my stitches inside the outline, so the outline will be totally visible. And so this means I don't have to stress as much about getting the edges of my satin stitch smooth because they're all going to be covered by this. So it will work the same if you stitch a satin stitch and then add an outline stitch, or put the outline and then come back and add the stitches in like I am doing. I also used all the other techniques, separated strands of thread, used a laying tool, stitch from the center out, and used reference guidelines. So you can see in my pieces, there's not a dramatic difference between my first original stitching and then my final stitching, but they're just subtle changes and differences. So if you're a brand new embroiderer, then I don't want you to stress, just keep practicing and maybe try some of these techniques. Now I do have another final sample, and this was a sample I made that I used all of these techniques, but I stitched with only 1 strand of embroidery floss. And when we look at this one closely, we can clearly see that this is the best to get all your threads totally straight and parallel. But this is also the most time consuming. And so you'll have to balance out how much time you have with what result you want to have. So I hope these tips help you to enjoy stitching satin stitch and getting the results that you want. It's a beautiful addition to your embroidery toolbox. For more embroidery stitching tutorials, patterns, and inspiration, you can check out my website, epidastudio.com.